Hey there, everybody. Meteorologist Will Haney here in the little talking box. I'm just adjusting our camera a little bit so it doesn't tip over on us. That would be sad. We're going to have a live update on the severe storms pushing in just a second. Hopefully everyone is having a decent enough Wednesday, despite our chance of some stronger storms. So on your left in the bigger box, you're seeing our current watches. We had a tornado watch issued just a few hours ago for our Indiana bordering counties. That goes until 8 p.m., I believe, right, Colin?
8 p.m. for the tornado watch.
Colin is in the house now. He was the man behind the curtain briefly getting the live stream going.
Oh, yeah.
Here, I'll scoot over, Colin, so you can be in here. And Keith is also here, but he's prepping for the TV side of things for 5 o'clock, and then we'll have some team coverage at 5:36, and then we'll obviously be streaming as well. So, again, the new information within the last 20 minutes or so is we now have a severe thunderstorm watch that was issued for the next 2 rows of counties up. So Allegan, Berry, Eaton counties, Van Buren, Kalamazoo, and Calhoun counties. And that severe thunderstorm watch goes until 10 p.m. It's a little later, but, I think the main window of opportunity is essentially starting now through probably about 8, 9 o'clock at the latest for us. Despite that watch going a little later, I think we should hopefully be out of the woods by, 8 or 9. So let's jump into the radar really quickly. And we also do already have 1 severe thunderstorm warning in Michigan for our area. It's in Berrien County, which I say our area, but that's technically the South Bend viewing area. So that's why we haven't done an on-air cut-in. But you can see that severe thunderstorm now in the southwestern corner of the state. The regional view here is a lot more impressive. This line of storms, very intense across central Indiana right now. And the overall tornado threat for us is lower relative to our friends farther south. But we still, we'll be watching that closely. But I do think this is mostly going to be a damaging wind threat. A secondary threat is also the potential for some flash flooding, which they've been monitoring pretty closely.
Yeah, I mean, the storms are moving pretty quickly, but they can dump a lot of rain in a short amount of time. We were seeing some, it looked like 2-3 inch per hour rainfall rates already falling in Indiana and Illinois.
Yeah, and they also saw flash flooding from a severe thunderstorm that produced a tornado in Macomb County, just north of Detroit, earlier this afternoon. So they already got in on some severe weather earlier today. And but this, as we've been indicating for several days now, it's really that late afternoon, early evening window for us that we saw that greatest potential for some severe storms. So we're right on the northern edge of this system and kind of this line of storms that's pushing through South Bend. They have not issued a severe thunderstorm warning for South Bend, which is interesting.
They issued a special weather statement for just a strong thunderstorm, essentially, for Cass County.
I think they might already be trimming that behind that line.
Oh, yeah. I saw that, the watch. Yeah, it was flashing. Keith, you want to say hi to the people?
I'll stay out of the feed.
Want to say hi to the people?
Come in our window right here, Keith, between Colin and myself. There you go.
Come on, we have 3 of us here now.
3 of us.
So you know that's trouble. And I know that Will was like, hey, this is my feed, Keith. Please. Get out.
Totally.
Get out.
Totally what I said.
I'm out.
Yeah, Keith, like we said, he's prepping the over the airwaves stuff coming up at 5. But yeah, we're right on this northern edge, and generally speaking, with this sort of a Boeing line of storms, although this northern portion is almost like breaking apart. I don't know if you've noticed that, Colin.
Yeah, it seems to be weakening as it moves north, which is good.
Yeah. Generally speaking, the ingredients are a little stronger farther south, but we're still going to have to watch this very closely. The warning that was in Berrien County, was that for, let me see, was that for considerable damage, or was it just a 60?
Just a 60 mile per hour.
Okay, so that was for 60 mile per hour winds. That warning goes until 4:30. So in theory, it expires in 3 minutes. It is a good sign that we haven't seen a new warning issued for Cass County. So that speaks to the fact that the National Weather Service probably not overly confident that within this leading edge of storms in South Bend, that there's the threat of 60 plus mile per hour winds. When we switch this over to velocity, so again, brighter colors here, generally speaking, means faster winds. And you can actually see that what Colin was just referencing, that kind of weakening theme, you see those brighter greens, almost like bluish greens, that were down towards, like, say, Valparaiso, Indiana, or portions of northern and northwestern Indiana. Those have since somewhat diminished. So these could be losing steam somewhat. You can see the comparison there where we still have the warnings. It's still kind of bright down in Warsaw, Indiana. And, this is still in Indiana, but we're going to have to watch that little leading edge right there as well. So overall, we're going to be continuing to watch this. Our whole thought process here is, as storms are rolling in, as warnings are in effect, we want to be streaming so you all can tune in, because I know there's going to be people wanting to know, what are these storms doing? But then again, we're going to be over the airwaves coming up at 5, and we'll be tracking the latest there as well. I'm actually, that weekend pretty quickly.
Really quickly. Yeah.
I was thinking for sure we would have a warning in Cass County, but I guess being kind of on that northern edge where it kind of curls back is a little bit better of a place to be than if we were kind of on the southern portion of this. But right now, the most intense winds are right near Warsaw, Indiana. That is for 70-mile-per-hour winds as well. And I believe that's the most recent. Oh, they just went tornado warning down there. So again, not for our area, but there is a tornado warning now for Elkhart. And I don't even want to say that county. I'm not sure on that one.
Oh, your guess is better than mine.
I should know my Indiana counties a little better, but that one is one I am not familiar with. I don't know if you guys see that in the bottom left. Someone probably knows that county, but that is, I think, two south of the Michigan-Indiana line.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Warsaw, Indiana is now under a tornado warning, if you know anyone down there. Kind of where that little leading edge of most intense wind is sort of curling back.
And they did just expire the warning in Berrien County. So
okay.
Right now we have no active severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings in our viewing area. We just have that tornado watch for the southern counties and then a severe thunderstorm watch for the next 2 rows of counties. But
Yep.
I think the weakening that we've seen here on radar, over the past hour or so is a good sign that, maybe some of our southwestern counties end up getting spared.
Yeah, it's intriguing. I think, these are on a trajectory, these storms, where, if I were to kind of extrapolate this a little bit, these are all moving towards, I would say, southern St. Joe, branch counties. So we definitely, I think within the next hour or so, we'll probably see some warnings. I don't think, unless this also weakens considerably and rapidly, but I think this is in a little bit better ingredient space where it can kind of maintain its strength a little bit. I think this is also, Colin, kind of like right along the low-level jet kind of pushing in. So I think as that continues to inch a little farther north, we could start to see these continue their strength or maintain their strength. But yeah, definitely bears watching right now. So the velocity, I think it's just that little kind of like curl backwards that they maybe issued the tornado warning, but it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Do you see any better couplet on there?
Shows
Colin
a
has
better.
a different radar product that he's looking at in his lab. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. You can see that.
So it's so close to the radar too that it's
Yeah.
actually kind of heading for. It's very close
Right
to the
here.
National Weather Service in northern Indiana, actually. That
Yeah.
tornado warning.
So right near Gravelton, Indiana.
Yeah.
There's that area of red and green together. And so these are the sort of, if we were to see tornadoes today, it's going to likely be those like embedded style for us. And if anything, maybe a very isolated tornado threat. But I think the bigger threat here, just given the overall storm structure, is going to be damaging winds. And looks like right now, if you're in Berrien County, if you're in Cass County, there's also rain ongoing and some rumbles of thunder near South Haven now. None of the rain, by the way, that's coming in off of Lake Michigan looks menacing. We don't foresee that to be an issue as far as severe weather. It's primarily this feature farther south as it continues to push farther northeast that poses our greatest wind threat. I should also mention there's also some cells firing north and ahead of this main line. While these right now don't look to be doing anything too squirrely, we'll definitely have to keep tabs on those as well.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I think those are in a little less favorable of a space for some better severe weather ingredients versus farther south. But we'll definitely have to keep an eye on those, and they're going to produce very heavy rain. There was a little cell that fired a little earlier in Ionia that had like 2-inch rainfall rates, which is just that's a pretty healthy heavy rain.
Especially in an urban area. So,
yeah, definitely. So definitely something we do need the rain. It's just we don't want to have it happen too quickly where the ground can't absorb it, which is, like I said, what they already saw in parts of southeast Michigan earlier today. Just to kind of check these really quickly.
There is no active severe thunderstorm warnings, but we do have a few special weather statements, one for Van Buren County and Kalamazoo County. So we could see wind gusts up to like 45, 50 miles per hour, which isn't quite like severe thunderstorm criteria, but you could still see some, those winds picking up, some frequent lightning as well. And of course, the heavy rain like Will was touching on.
How do these look on there, Colin? Just out of curiosity. Anything that you
Kalamazoo
see?
County?
Nah, St. Joseph County, like those little
down
cells going up. So go to northern Indiana. I'm just curious if
in terms of winds,
nothing.
I'm not seeing anything.
Okay, cool.
So that should be good.
This is I don't know which radar this is ping. What I will show you all though is, even like I said, these non-severe storms right now, that's not far from Mendon, just to the west and northwest of Mendon. Just hugging that Kalamazoo and St. Joseph County line. Even just this cell right here has a little bullseye that looks like, look at that. That's a tiny, tiny little bullseye. But even the fact that it's pinging those sort of rainfall rates is pretty impressive. So that's like a straight up deluge, just again, west of Mendon. And it's not going to last long necessarily, but it will produce some very, very heavy rain in a short amount of time. That's crazy. It's been a while since I've seen a precip rate of nearly 4 inches per hour.
Yeah.
So like I said, these aren't necessarily severe, but these little cells even out ahead of it are going to produce some pretty intense rainfall. Kind of want to fire that off on social media, but I can't really at the moment. What I do need to do is share the feed, so I need to get on that. But anyways, and still no new warnings for Michigan right now. This is a line of storms that looks more impressive right now, as of now. A little bit to our south, there is tornado warnings in Indiana currently. There's no current severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings in Michigan. And in case you missed it, we started with this off the top, but there was a addition to some of our area now under a severe thunderstorm watch. That's in pink. And I still want you to take a severe thunderstorm watch seriously. Some people are like, oh, well, we're not in the tornado watch. We're fine. It's like, not quite. Still could have some pretty beefy storms. And also some of those storms could still have that low potential for an embedded tornado. Just that the slightly better ingredients for if we see tornadoes or a little bit stronger storms, it's going to be, I think, farther south. And really within the next couple hours, I think, as well as this main segment kind of lifts on through. So that is
the National Weather Service noting that they're in agreement with the weakening. So that's good news for some of our western counties closer to the lakeshore.
Yeah, let's see what this looks like. So this is our hour by hour. It's depicting it pretty well overall where that main line is right now. So this would be like 5 o'clock. Might be a little behind, but by 5:30, pushing into Kalamazoo. 6 o'clock, pushing into some of those. And this at least depicting that it's kind of pretty much, maintain its strength. I don't know if it'll still have those intense winds on the northern edge, but, it's basically just showing what we're seeing off to our southwest, sort of lifting on through here. And then that main leading edge could be out as early as like 7:30. Now we'll still have some potentially heavy rainmaker type thunderstorms after that, but I think the main wave of severe weather would be over. One thing that the National Weather Service did note and that we were seeing in some of the data is that the overall flash flood threat has come up a little bit. Some of the rain that's going to continue, especially farther north into the early overnight, looks pretty heavy. And just the fact you're going to have several hours of heavy rain even after those thunderstorms go through lends us to believe that we could have some, localized flash flood concerns. And there also could be some swaths like we were just seeing, even with that little storm, a 3+ inch per hour rainfall rate is enough where if that storm, parks itself over an area, even just for 20, 30 minutes, that's going to be enough to produce an inch or two of rain. So I don't know what happened to my radar.
A lot of people, I think, in the comments are getting watches and warnings mixed up. So right now, there's just a tornado watch for our southern counties. There's no active tornado warning anywhere in West Michigan, severe thunderstorm or tornado right now. But we do have that severe thunderstorm watch for the I-94 counties and then the counties north. And then we have a tornado watch for our southern row counties that border Indiana.
I have no idea why, but my sweeping radar is not working, which is not good. I don't know if that's because Keith maybe was doing something.
I have no clue.
It's weird. That's not great. We'll figure that out. But yeah, all of a sudden my radar just dropped off. This is national radar. We still have radar. We just don't have the velocity radar type yet. Which I need to get that back pronto. But
yeah,
looks like we still have severe thunderstorm warning off to our south. That's just south of St. Joseph County. And still one tornado warning, a few counties to our south, but nothing in West Michigan yet. Also, a few other tornado warnings. Any of those red boxes you see here, those are the tornado warnings ongoing across portions of Indiana. Orange boxes are also your thunderstorm warnings. So stretching from, all the way just a little south of South Bend, down through Indy to Bloomington, all the way down to almost Evansville, you have a line of severe thunderstorm warned cells. So pretty impressive for Indiana right now. We're right on the northern edge, which is, I'd rather be on the northern edge than the southern edge of this entire system overall. So that's good. But these storms are still not fully behaving themselves just to our south. So that's why we're on here, just to see if we see any additional warnings extended. But I think, like Sturgis right now, Coldwater, especially that US 12 stretch down in St. Joseph and Branch counties, you all could be the first ones to see potentially these severe thunderstorms. Let's see, what the heck is going on with my radar? Now it's back. I don't know if we had a date. That's really weird. You see this?
yeah.
I almost had like a data outage or something. Bad luck lately with these severe weather. Last time we lost power and our whole system went wonky for a little bit.
Yeah.
I could go ask Keith if he was, I don't know if maybe he was like saving something and then something in the cores. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
Did you just restart the rate?
No. And I don't even know what those are. Because that stuff's not even there. What the heck? I don't know what's going on with that radar product. This is frustrating. There it goes. It's coming back. I think it must be some sort of a weird data thing. I don't know. Because we still, I guess, no. Those are now we're good, I think. But I can't play it back. Do you see that? It's like a gap in the data.
Yeah, I wonder if something weird with Max happened.
Yeah, with our
graphics system.
Yeah, it looks like another little cell is going up near Berry in Berry County, right on M43. So again, a heavy rainmaker, but nothing severe right now. These storms, though, just not far from Mendon and Parkville in northern St. Joseph County, some really prolific rain happening there. We're talking probably several inch per hour rainfall rates. So again, good deluge happening. Also in Sherwood Township, an area that has seen its fair share of severe weather this season. Looks like that's now updated. Hey, Keith, were you saving anything? Like, were you saving or playing around with your radar within the last 10 minutes?
One, that's one.
Yeah, I wonder. It was weird. Like, my radar had a weird data out. It stopped working. Yeah, I know. I don't know if you saving something caused it to do it.
Oh, you know what? I did. I saved the new watches and stuff.
I don't know. It's probably just something with the cores, is my guess.
Okay. I don't know.
I just don't. Well, I just don't want anything to not work.
Yeah.
For you too.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm only on one, right? I think.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think we're good. That looks.
Yeah, that looks right.
I'm just making sure one radar isn't lagging more than the other, but I think we're good. I don't know what happened, y'all. I apologize. I know on your end, you're probably like, what are they talking about? But we just had a little radar outage, as you can see here with, oh wait, now it's back fully because now I'm looping the full hour. Okay, maybe we lost it a little bit, but we're back. So yeah, right now there's one little tornado warning off to our south, but while there are severe thunderstorm watches in Michigan, there are no warnings. So there's no, get to your basement warnings right now in Michigan. There are some to our south, which is why we're
And they actually canceled that tornado warning now.
Okay.
So it's just severe thunderstorm warnings off to our south, but those are all in Indiana. So no active warnings for us here in West Michigan right now. But, it looks like maybe southeastern St. Joseph or Branch counties would kind of be the first ones to see a severe thunderstorm warning if these storms hold strength that are right now moving through the Goshen, Indiana area.
Yeah. And you can see there's that weakening we were talking about. And some of that is it's getting close to the radar too. So it's probably like hitting lower in the storm, perhaps. But overall, a decent weakening noted here. Looks like there's still some pretty strong winds, though, near North Webster, which if you can make it out, there's like a little donut hole right on the radar there, just north of North Webster. That is because that's where the radar is located. So that's where the National Weather Service office is. And so this is sampling really close to the thunderstorm. And I can actually see how fast. So yeah, 58 miles per hour right there along the leading edge. So yeah, that would definitely justify the warning that they're issuing right now. And that is why we're seeing that warning. Oh, we got a new, no, that's the same warning. I lost where I was for a second. All right. Anything you're seeing in the chat, Colin, or anything?
Not much. Just we have some special weather statements, like 40, 50 mile per hour winds for some of those storms moving through like Cass County right now.
Looks like things lighten up a little bit in Van Buren County. But again, I'm not overly concerned with those storms farther north. I think they're going to produce some really heavy rain, but a little bit less.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you down here? Is there a way that I can do this off of 2 to get me up to Silver Beach? So to go down here to the panel to the.
How do we get in Silver Beach? Don't we just take that full screen though?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got to have the right source.
So go into there.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
And then up here, go to right here, that one, and then come down here and click on. It should be there. Scroll.
Oh, right here.
No, that's. Oh yeah.
Oh, we have that now?
Yeah, and then play out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hit.
Yeah, I didn't even know we had this.
Hit live.
And then you'll just need to change this to 2.
Right.
I'll change it to 2.
Yeah, change it to 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you should be
No problem.
Because that's right over Silver Beach right now. So. Right.
You're the man talking off.
Hello. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Does it look?
Yeah, it looks like the rain's coming down pretty good right now
Oh,
over St. Joe.
Yeah. So that I think that line is right over there.
Here, I can switch to show that as well.
There
So
we
yeah,
go.
this is some of the storms right now in St. Joseph. Again, no severe thunderstorm warning there, but they're going to be really heavy rainmakers, produce some lightning as well. I need to monitor the clock because I'm in the 5 first weather.
Okay.
And I currently have nothing prepared. So
Okay. I can
That's a
take over
fun-
the stream if you want.
yeah, the only tricky thing is I'm routed through Max 2. So I'm going to have to prep something on here.
Oh,
But I
okay.
we'll multitask. We'll make it
We'll
happen.
multitask. I
Probably
can
just-
talk if you want to
Yeah.
prepare. But
I
yeah,
think
right
we'll
now
be-
we still don't have any active severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings. Rain obviously is coming down heavy, and that honestly might turn into the bigger threat here with these evening storms is just the heavy rainfall, and that could result in some localized flooding issues. And when I say localized flooding issues, we think of those typical urban areas that typically have trouble. If you're in a low-lying spot that typically sees, the water rise with heavy thunderstorms, could be dealing with something like that throughout the evening hours as these storms roll through. But we're not expecting any major flooding issues by any means.
Yeah.
Just a lot of rain coming down in a short amount of time. And the ground is pretty dry as well. We're not technically under a drought right now, but we're abnormally dry. Soil moisture is dry across West Michigan.
Yep.
So that means that runoff could happen a lot easier. It's harder for that water to kind of soak in when the soil is drier. So that could lead to some very localized flooding issues, ponding on the roadways too.
And now no tornado warnings in Indiana, which is definitely a good sign. this almost entire line is warned across Indiana, but nothing here locally just yet. I think the biggest, our best chance of seeing some stronger wind gusts is going to be kind of the northern edge of this segment that you're seeing just off to our south. So if I were to draw this on, what I'm talking about is this guy. Ignore my arrow. More focus on the shape I just drew there. But that kind of moving this direction, I think is going to be our best shot. So like we were mentioning earlier, I think if you're in Sturgis, if you're in Coldwater, kind of the southern half of St. Joseph County, southern half of Branch County, I would still be monitoring this very closely. Still has that potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds, as it is warned to our south. But right now, we're not. If you're seeing some of these storms also firing farther north, if you're underneath one of them, there's no immediate threat other than lightning and some really heavy rain. Again, these are not in as good of a space where they're going to tap into as strong of severe weather ingredients. And also some of these storms that are firing out ahead of the leading line is actually can sometimes work in our favor to kind of stabilize things a little bit, kind of churn over some of the atmosphere, and which can kind of help weaken perhaps that line moving in. So
there is one interesting cell over northern Van Buren County right now. It's like stationary. It's not moving. So that's where we could run into these issues where we start to see a little bit of flooding. It looks like the lake breeze is interacting with, or, like the lake breeze boundary is interacting with that.
Yeah, how it's just, it hasn't moved within the last several scans. We lost, we did have a data outage or something, but.
Oh, check out that St. Joe County.
Hold on.
The rain really heavy.
Yeah, so really heavy rain right now in St. Joseph County, as Keith just told us. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is a very heavy rain that's ongoing with these storms. And like Colin was saying, that in the end, I think, the flood threat is definitely there. We could see a couple locations that get some very impressive rainfall, which I think is what I'm going to touch on.
I know, we need to talk about that. I was just looking at my watch.
I said to Colin, I was like, I need to watch the clock because we're 10 minutes away, and I have not prepped anything.
You want to do that?
Do you want me to do, that, or like the risk categories might be the easiest right now?
Or the just sort of the hour by hour?
Yeah, that might be it.
You know what? How about this? How about if I do radar? Maybe we'll do a precipitation query on a couple of spots, just say like, look how heavy this rain is or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll pitch to you. Is that all right?
Hour by hour.
You do the hour by hour.
We're talking about our live TV plans, by the way.
You get the behind the scenes look.
Facebook Live.
Now that it's 9 minutes ahead of time.
Yeah.
So how about they'll come to me? I'm going to do, probably I'll do this shot first, right?
Yeah,
And then I'll do radar. I'll do just like a little radar loop. I'll do the watches that we have, and then I'm going to pitch to you for hour by hour. What do you think?
Okay.
And the impacts.
Yep. And Andy, we're on Facebook Live, just so you're aware, and it's streamed. All right. So yeah, hour by hour.
And then impacts.
And like risk breakdown.
Yes,
would be fine.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Okay. Cool.
And then you pitch back to the anchors.
Okay. The plan is set, everybody. That's how quickly it goes sometimes.
Some people asking how fast the storms are moving. They're moving at about 40, 45 miles per hour to the north and east.
Yeah,
was the latest I was kind of seeing.
Yeah, they had a few warnings for like 70-mile-per-hour storm motion. I thought, unless I was looking at the wind, which I easily could have been, but I swore there was one when some of the warnings were first dropping on these well into Indiana. One of the storm motions I think was like 70, and I was like,
it looks like 45 miles per hour is the storm kind of moving through Cass County right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be entering Van Buren County, kind of southwest Van Buren County here.
Yeah, and still, again, we're just monitoring this severe thunderstorm warning down in Indiana. The fact it has that kind of bow shape to it, and it's still warm for 70-mile-an-hour winds. Again, these are tracking for. They could clip Sturgis. They could continue to move into southern St. Joe and southern Branch County. Let me put a track on this, and then I got to go mic up, and Colin can take over for a second. But so this one is moving northeast at 65.
Okay.
So
the northern storms are kind of moving a little slower. The ones further south that are moving more eastward, northeastward. are clipping along. That's probably why that they're dealing with the gusty winds, the severe thunderstorms.
Man, that's moving so fast I can barely put the tracker on it. Let's see. I like that. So that would put this in
5:30 in Coldwater.
Yeah, Fremont. I think that's like just across the Michigan-Indiana line, and then you can see some of the other timings there. Coldwater closer to 5:30 perhaps. So if you're leaving work now and driving on 94, you still could hit some heavier pockets of rain, but this main line, you still got a little bit of time. If you're punching it south on I-69 right now. Still some really impressive rain though, ongoing across Berry and Cass, Van Buren counties. Right near Bloomingdale, there's some decent rain north of Breedsville into southern Allegan County. Also seeing some very torrential rain. Basically, any of these cells out ahead of the main line, they're not too worried about as far as a wind or tornado threat, but the bigger thing is just going to be the really impressive rainfall rates, which, again, I'll switch this back over to St. Joe. Still some pretty heavy rain there.
Yeah.
All right, so really quickly, let me bump this up, Colin, to the top. And then I need to just prep one quick thing. I need that risk breakdown. Let me see. I think Jeff was using that earlier.
Oh, the 3-box?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that.
True.
I also need to run to my car and grab my dress shoes. So I just realized that. These are the things you think about 5 minutes before you're about to go on TV. All right. So these were the risk thresholds for these storms a little earlier today, which is what I'm going to touch on. And we have not showed this yet. So overall, the damaging wind threat is a 30%. That area of red.
Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3.
It's like a level 3 of 5. And then we have some other risks there. Let me just update this to say now.
Okay.
Jesse, I'm going to go run a mic up. Sorry.
But yeah, for anyone just tuning in, we don't have any active severe thunderstorm warnings in West Michigan. Just some really heavy rain falling across portions of Cass County right now, northern Berrien, southwestern Van Buren County. And we have a few little isolated cells out ahead of that as well. There's kind of a line.
Here you go. You can go.
Cool. Thank you. We have a few isolated cells. None of them are severe. But those can continue to drop some heavy rain across portions of southern Kalamazoo County. I think I've seen some people saying you're hearing lightning, or you're hearing thunder rather, in southern Kalamazoo County. That's probably this little cell here, moving just east of Pavilion. We also have some isolated thunderstorms kind of forming around Battle Creek right now. Once again, I think the biggest threat with these storms is going to be the heavy rain. We're not seeing any rotation. We're not seeing any winds that would be indicative of a severe thunderstorm. So that's the good news right now. We have some stronger storms across portions of northern Berrien and Cass County. This is just moved over to Wajak. This is moving into the area of White Pigeon in St. Joseph County, and eventually it'll be moving into the area of Three Rivers. But no active warnings. Winds right now are between 40 and 50 miles per hour. So that's below the threshold for severe thunderstorm warning. In northern Indiana, a little different story. We do have some severe thunderstorm warnings down there. And I think that if those storms hold strength, we could be dealing with some severe thunderstorm warnings in areas like Sturgis, Coldwater, Branch County. That's where I think we could see a severe thunderstorm warning issued. But it all comes down to if this storm can hold strength. That's in northern Indiana right now. We do.
Did they get me, Jesse?
Hey, Jared, could you check those mic checks?
Check. Low.
So,
Thank you.
Right now, just tracking those severe thunderstorm warnings in northern Indiana, but no active warnings for us here in West Michigan. So that's the good news. I really think that the greater threat with these storms for our area are going to be the heavy rain. We're already seeing some impressive rainfall totals. We were just looking at the St. Joseph camera, and they were just seeing a torrential downpour. They still are getting really heavy rain. So when we get that rainfall rate, that heavy rainfall rate in a short amount of time, that could lead to some ponding on the roadways, some localized flooding issues in those urban areas especially. So if you're in that typical problem spot, low-lying area, we could be dealing with some localized flooding as these storms continue to move through, but not seeing those winds strong enough to indicate a severe thunderstorm warning. So that's the good news there.
1 minute.
Not seeing any damage reports either for us here in West Michigan. So they're about to begin News Channel 3 live at 5. So we are going to go ahead and move this stream.
30.
Don't want to be talking over the live news. Hey, should we
You're
cancel
thinking the same thing.
the stream?
I
Probably.
think keep it going.
Okay.
What we'll do is
Oh, I know what I was going to ask
do
you.
what we're doing now,
You're
and
there.
just until my hit's done, then you and I can come in here.
Okay.
And steer.
Okay. Are you just going to put Max 2 up on your computer then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want, you can bring it out there.
Okay. And kind of show you and Keith. Okay. Let's do that.
Okay.
I gotta be quiet now.
Our Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson has been tracking this system all day and has the very latest tonight from the Weather Alert Center. Keith.
Yeah, you know that weather alert day is certainly coming to reality right now with some heavy rain that's starting to come down in portions of West Michigan. We're tracking right now the leading edge of these storms as they are moving right there on the Silver Beach. And you can see it is a stormy view here looking right now over Silver Beach as we say hello to St. Joseph. No warning right now for this area. In fact, there's no severe thunderstorm warning at all right now in West Michigan. But as you can see, we do have the showers and storms. As noted earlier today, they are moving in right on time. We put live Doppler radar to work here as we put this into motion. There you see those storms that are now moving through Cass County, Dowagiac, Silver Beach, where we were just looking live. It's lightning and thundering right now. In South Haven, we get a little bit closer. And I want to track this area here that is now sort of moving from Dowagiac into northern Indiana. As we put a track on that, you can see it's going to be moving into Three Rivers here in about 10 minutes. And then Texas Township and Portage, before we get to the bottom of the hour. Kalamazoo, Comstock, and Richland will be between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. We're going to be seeing some heavier rain here. We're also keeping an eye on these thunderstorms. This cluster right now that is around Middlebury, Indiana, because that's moving to the northeast. So that's headed your way, Sturgis, in about 10 to 15 minutes. There could be some really strong winds with this. Burr Oak at 519, Colon at about 525, and arriving in Coldwater at about 537. Here's the latest on our watches right now. Tornado watch in yellow. That goes until 8 o'clock. That's our border counties. Berrien County, Cass, St. Joe, Branch counties. The peak counties that you see, Allegan, Van Buren, Kalamazoo, Berry, Calhoun, Eaton counties. Those are under a thunderstorm warning, thunderstorm watch, I should say, thunderstorm watch. And that will go until 10 o'clock tonight. We have team coverage here right now of our severe weather event. I'm joined by meteorologist Will Haney, who is taking this hour by hour to tell us what's next. Will?
Yeah, Keith, it looks like this line of storms is really going to blow on through here in the next 2 to 3 hours. So as early as about 8, 9 o'clock, hopefully we'll be able to give you all clear. This is 8 o'clock. Notice how that leading edge pushing out of our area into the east side of the state. Now, behind that main line of storms, there's still going to be some heavy rain threat that we'll have to monitor through the later evening hours. In fact, if anything, the threat of some localized flash flooding has gone up a little bit. We've seen some really impressive rainfall rates with some of these storms as they've been kind of living in Indiana, and as they move in, we're still going to see that into the later evening. In fact, some heavy rain still could be ongoing near and north of I-96, well into the overnight. A few rumbles of thunder before a few showers just later early tomorrow. So overall, today's severe weather outlook included 3 risks: damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. Damaging winds, though, as you see here highlighted there in red, was the main concern with this, and I think that remains to be the case. Overall, the large hail risk is incredibly low, very isolated. In fact, I'm really not overly convinced we'll see much in the way of hail at this point. Overall, the tornado risk as well, much lower relative to that wind, but still something we're going to be monitoring. Get some of those cells off to our south, had a few brief tornado warnings, so we'll just have to watch and monitor them as they continue to push farther northeast. Andy?
All right, well, thank you. As we deal with the threat of severe weather over the next few hours, power crews are getting ready to react to potential outages. Right now, there are essentially no outages in Southwest Michigan. Super Energy says they've got almost 500 crews.
All right, we're going to come back in here and do the stream, if that's okay. Okay. So we're just going to move into a different area away from the studio since News Channel 3 is live now.
Warning.
Yeah, so
Branch.
warning just issued for Branch, and it looks like Southern St. Joe as well.
Yeah, that area we've been monitoring.
Okay.
Do you have a hit at the end of the A block, Keith?
I don't, but I can.
I would tell him and just hit that at the end of the A block would
Can you
be.
hear me there, David?
Hey guys.
Can we do a hit at the end of the block? A real quick one, just to do a warning, because we have a warning.
Hey everybody, sorry. A lot of choreography going on behind the scenes. The only other thing,
Yeah.
Colin, is
Yeah, is that all
I
right?
might. Is there anywhere I could plug in?
Why am I?
Is this?
Yeah, it probably doesn't reach. Might need to just throw this over here. What do you think?
Yeah.
That tripod might need to be adjusted. So yeah, now everybody, since we're in the show, you can obviously watch us on TV and here as well. But because of that, we're trying to kind of coordinate a couple things. Oh, Keith, I need to get off yours. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Let me. Are you good for a second?
Me?
Yeah, I just don't want to mess up your clicks.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm just closing out.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
Why am I having a hard time? Okay, this is what I need to do. So help me out here, Colin.
Yeah.
Can you help an old man? See this palette? I want to add this palette, but I don't want to replace this. If I double click on this, will it add it? It'll add it to my show, right?
Yeah.
It
So
won't-
hit
it
double
won't
click
change
it.
that.
Are you just trying to
Oh,
add?
it'll change it,
Oh, no, I don't want to change it.
but not for, you can still click on that. You know what I'm saying? So you're just trying to get,
I want to add this severe warning. Oh, I just drag it in.
yeah, you can do that too.
No, I can't.
Oh, wait.
You see what I'm trying to do? I'm having a brain moment here.
Load it first.
Yeah, less than a minute. A minute's fine, David. A
Click
minute's fine.
that. Just
Okay.
once. Okay, now hit add, go down, save,
Oh,
and then
add
save as a new
element.
shell element.
Okay, thanks. I'm
Yep.
sorry. I just didn't want to lose that one.
Oh, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so now it'll have its own element.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. So some new information, everybody, that Keith is trying to prep for TV. So that's what that was. We're trying to coordinate a few different things right now. So yeah, Keith's handling the TV side of things. We're handling the live stream. But there was a new severe thunderstorm warning, which was the same area we've been hitting, and monitoring very closely. We've been telling you right along US 12, Southern St. Joseph, Southern Branch County would be our best chance of seeing a severe thunderstorm, and it looks like that is now the case. So for Branch and St. Joe County, for radar indicated wind speeds, it's come down a little bit since the last warning that was issued by Northern Indiana, so 60 miles per hour. This warning goes until 5:30 p.m. So these are pretty short-lived warnings because of how quickly these storms are moving.
You know that Eastern England, right? Okay.
Yeah, I did see that as
All right,
well.
sorry.
So it also looks like, just in case anyone from our feed, just southeast of Lansing, Eastern Ingham County also under a severe thunderstorm, which is the first of any of those storms farther north to be warned. So that is of note. We'll have to kind of keep close tabs on that. And Keith, do you think big weather as well, just while you're in here? I don't
Leave
know.
this first.
Okay.
So that
Yeah.
way you guys can just focus on this. Is that all right?
Yeah. Can you tell David?
Yeah, I'll tell him that.
Okay.
He can probably hear me right now.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we will definitely be in here monitoring. Anything else with these? Just the fact that that's warned now has my attention. Are these farther
Yeah,
north
I mean,
looking any
The
north
one
is-
northeast of Delton,
Okay.
Yeah, that has
By
a
the way,
decent
just
little.
if there's any question, David.
Man, those are really strong reflectivities.
Yeah. they're not producing a lot of wind. If anything,
Thank you.
Yeah, that one.
that one is in Ingham County, but
Okay. Here, I'll scoot over a little. Huh?
okay.
Man, yeah, these are really heavy rainmakers. I don't think there's any hail within there, but I am curious if this is registering anything. Yeah, it's not. So, yeah, right now, not far from Bellevue. This is pretty much all in Branch County, but these are some really heavy rain-making thunderstorms. These red areas, if I click that exact little bullseye, but that's 3-4 inches. Oh, that's frustrating. Hold on one second. I'm gonna turn that off. And we'll see what, oh my gosh.
8 inches per hour. Yeah.
8-inch rainfall rate within the bullseye in Berry County.
Oh my Lord. I don't think I've
I
ever
know.
seen that. Ever.
I don't know if I have. So basically, y'all, all that humidity in the air today is just like, I use the analogy, it's like the atmosphere is like wringing out a towel. There's basically like just so much moisture that these storms are tapping into.
Yeah.
But that's absurd.
Dew points are near 70, upper 60s, low 70s.
Yeah, that's like,
That's some really heavy rain
crazy.
coming down.
yeah. So, I mean, that's enough. Even if it rains for like 15, 20 minutes, you could have
That's crazy.
some flash flood issues
That's
if you
crazy.
like live in a spot where that's an issue.
We had a story from West Virginia a day or two ago where they had that flash flooding. I don't know if you saw that. They had 4 inches in half an hour.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it created some major problems. This south, huh? That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one south of Hastings.
South of Hastings.
So again, everybody, the severe thunderstorm warnings, who we want just, indoors, away from windows right now. No tornado warnings, but there are severe thunderstorm warnings for this area in southern St. Joe and southwestern Branch counties. This warning continues through 5:30. It is a wind threat primarily of 60 miles per hour. That's still strong enough to bring down some healthy trees, especially large trees. So just take it seriously. If you're in Sturgis right now, if you're in Burr Oak, Sherman, south side of Colon, Bronson, Madison, Gilead.
Gilead.
Yeah, Gilead. I always second guess that one. Sorry, Gilead, if you're there. If you're in Noble, if you're in Hatmaker, Michigan. These are all places that are in the severe thunderstorm warning along US 12, again, south of Colon, or kind of just including Colon, and then off to the south from there. Right now, that's the only warning that we have at this time. But I think, the other threat is this heavy rain. And, it's evening rush hour time now.
Mhm.
So anyone driving out in these, slow down. An 8-inch rainfall rate is where you're going to start to see people slow down considerably because you can't see.
Yeah.
And I've driven in some really torrential rain before, storm chasing in college, and I'll never forget one night where we literally could not see 20 feet in front of us. And that's when I start to think of an 8-inch per hour rainfall rate. That's what I start to think of is people out driving in that. And it's just super heavy rain.
So we are getting some reports of some pea-sized hail in that storm in Lansing. So I wouldn't be
Okay.
surprised if maybe there's a little bit of hail mixing in
Okay.
with some of those storms right now popping up in Berry and Eaton counties.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me, I'm going to try and share this out really quickly, and we'll just sit on this radar for a second, everybody. But have they seen
Also, there
anything?
was a funnel cloud reported over South Main Shell and Three Rivers, which I'm surprised about. I'm not seeing any
Yeah.
rotation there, so
That might be.
I don't know if that's a legitimate.
Yeah, sometimes, on a heightened weather day like this, I'm not saying it's not possible, but there's a lot of things, little clouds that can be kind of mistaken for a funnel cloud, and sometimes you see that on days like today. Torrential.
But those strongest winds with that severe thunderstorm warning right now, about to enter into the Sturgis area. So right now they're coming over the line from Indiana, northern Indiana into Michigan. So Sturgis, Fawn River, that area, you could be seeing some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts here very shortly. And that's going to continue to move off to the north and the east. This storm is moving to the north and the east at about 60 miles an hour. So,
Jeez.
just as fast as they're moving, that's the wind speeds they could be producing as well. So Fawn River, Sturgis, Burr Oak, you guys are going to be under the gun here over the next few minutes as these storms race off to the north and the east. Could be dealing with 60-mile-per-hour winds. Also, some really heavy rainfall. We've been touching on that, but that's going to be the case here as that storm moves into southeastern St. Joseph and into Branch counties as well.
That little, I just switch this over to velocity really quick. Do storm relative. Nothing. I
Yeah.
mean, nothing that concerning.
Yeah,
Anytime I see those little
kinks.
yeah, that's what you kind of have to watch.
We were
close.
just looking for some possible rotation, but
what I was
looking at
just,
velocity.
what I was just referencing, everybody, is anytime you see these little what Colin said, a little kink in the line. That's not really a classic one, but basically kind of along this leading edge, I'm looking for little just notches. That is not all that classic, like I said, but saw just enough of one where I just wanted Colin to check
Yeah.
his radar.
So that storm in Berry County, it's possible that it could be producing 40-mile-per-hour winds, and now pea-sized hail is possible. So not anything severe, but don't be surprised if you see a little bit of hail, those winds picking up torrential downpours in Berry County.
All right. I'm just about to post this.
But the only active warning we have in our viewing area right now is southeastern St. Joseph and western Branch County severe thunderstorm warning in effect there until 5:30 this evening. So 60-mile-per-hour winds possible, and some heavy rain as those storms are moving over Sturgis and Fawn River right now.
Yeah.
Canceled
tornado watch for Berrien County. Okay.
So they're trimming away that tornado watch.
Yeah. Okay. That would make no sense. But yeah, so basically what Colin just said. So if we switch this back over, we should see that now some counties are being dropped. So Berrien County effectively in the clear, South Bend also effectively in the clear. I will also note that, severe thunderstorm potential, we're still going to have to watch this kind of northern edge that's lifting into Van Buren County. But so far, we haven't seen anything overly impressive with what I'm talking about is this kind of like almost appendage that like curls backward from that leading edge. We haven't seen anything overly concerning with that other than the heavy rain threat. So I won't say South Haven or like Allegan is out of the woods, but that's a little less concerning than down here, obviously, where we have better storm ingredients, and these storms have kind of a history of some pretty strong wind gusts. I'm curious what Keith just switched over here. Let's see, Coldwater. Coldwater, seeing anything?
Hey,
Of course, it's not going to load.
sorry.
No, it's okay. What's up?
Is there a way to get back into that scene changer and load me up for cold water? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, for big weather?
Yeah, just real quick.
Isn't that going to be, that'll just be a full screen, right?
Yeah, so if you go into,
Okay. Is your hit about to happen?
I got a package.
Okay. Because I'm just going to have to throw it up.
Real quick, if you go to cold
This.
water area, go down, hit play on that, and then hit the make it, and that's all I need. And then you can go and do whatever. I'm good. Thank you.
Well, I can't do whatever,
Oh,
but it's okay. That's what I'm saying. Is it just this package?
We still have
Why
radar
don't-
right now,
I'll
though.
stick,
Yeah, we still have radar. So
I'll stick my head in
that's what I'm saying. Maybe just do that. Like
stick-
literally
I'll
a
stick my
minute
hand.
before.
like 30 seconds before. When he gives me a 30 on the package, I'll
I
say,
can also kind of listen too.
Yeah. But
Okay.
Jesse's out there, so when he gives me a 30, I'll say 30.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Keith.
And then if you're watching me or if you can hear me, you'll know when I'm off of it. Then you can.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay. Yeah, sorry everybody. We're coordinating because we only have 2 weather graphics computers and we use some of them for our live feeds, and so we're in the show but also doing a live feed. So a lot of things going on right now. Yeah, nothing new to report as far as anything a little farther south. Let's see, what does this look like velocity wise? Yeah, those brighter reds definitely pushing into the like Sturgis area right now. What I can do is I'm curious what speeds this is showing. So it's a little less right now, at least what it's showing near Sturgis. All right, a little farther south though, these look brighter. Let's see. Yeah, so right now crossing the toll road of I-80 in northern Indiana. Some pretty strong wind gusts right now near Brighton, Indiana. So that'll be pushing into Noble to Gilead. Sturgis, you're going to see a decently strong line of wind move through right now, but as of what I'm seeing on radar, it's not 60 mile per hour. It might be closer to like 50, but you are still under that severe thunderstorm warning. And I have not seen any new reports of anything. Have you?
No, not seeing any reports.
There's our current warnings. That warning east of Lansing is like the tiniest little severe thunderstorm warning I've ever seen.
Yeah, it looks like they're
See
continuing to trim it in Ingham
What a
County.
cute little warning that is. Wow.
But yeah, I think the biggest threat, for us is that severe thunderstorm warning. looks to be over Fawn River right now, heading towards Burr Oak, Bronson, Western Branch County. You're up next. Otherwise, the rain, the really heavy rain with a lot of these storms. Not going to rule out this storm up in Berry County near Hastings right now, between Hastings and Nashville.
Yeah, Colin's talking about these now on your screen. So there's 3 little cells up there.
Yeah, those are producing some really heavy rain. So
yeah, that was the one we saw earlier with like a 8-inch rainfall rate, which is just bananas.
And not moving very quickly either. So
oh man, I thought no. No. So remember that whole thing about that was my fear. I thought he was going to come in 30 seconds before, and then I think there was a miscommunication because it's like, oh, listen.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh, shoot, that's annoying. So if you're watching on TV, you just saw a little hiccup. That was what we were talking about. Also, I'm going to turn this off just in case they accidentally didn't float my hit. But,
okay.
Yeah, so I turned up my IFB just in time for him to say, and we're looking at live Doppler right there. And I'm like, oh no. Anyways, this will be funny when Keith comes in. Anyways.
But right now, for people wondering about Kalamazoo, Van Buren County, a lot of people asking about Battle Creek, non-severe thunderstorms, just some heavy rain, some lightning.
Yeah, and I can try and track this. I'm curious what this northern, man, they are moving pretty quick.
Yeah.
Even these.
The severe thunderstorm warnings for 60 miles per hour. I'd say probably moving at like 55, a little further north.
Hold on, quick. Yeah, so that northern is moving close to like 40.
Okay.
So Kalamazoo will get an idea for when this line is going to move through momentarily. Let's see. So if you're in Kalamazoo, close to about 540, look for a pretty significant uptick in heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds. We're not seeing severe thunderstorm winds, though, within this line just right now. And then Battle Creek closer to 6. So you got a little bit more time if you're driving between Kalamazoo and Battle Creek before some really heavy rain hits I-94. And this is heavy enough rain where, like, I wouldn't want to be driving in it. Not super fun to be driving in that torrential of rain. But yeah, you can see some of the other timings there as well. So Portage probably closer to like 5:30. In fact, there's already some rain and lightning ongoing a little closer to Schoolcraft, but it's just that main edge is going to be lifting in there.
We are seeing now some penny and nickel size hail being reported in that cell up in Berry and Eaton County.
Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of still strengthening somewhat. Let's see. Is this doing anything velocity-wise? I feel so bad. He's going to come in laughing. Hopefully. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I thought I would time that just right. We're in the weather office, which is right off of the studio. And I'm sure Keith's going to come in any second. Yeah, that still nothing really velocity-wise, right, that you're seeing up in these storms, Colin?
No.
Like in Berry County, it's just the heavy rain and hail.
Yeah, basically, I'm just seeing hail reports, but no wind reports from those up in Berry or Eaton County.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
No, it was a miscommunication. I thought you were going to come back in here, but then I was like, oh, listen. But I was more talking about, like,
Oh, that's all right.
anyways.
Well,
and I
because
had turned it down because we were, talking, and it was just loud enough where I heard, hey, we're going to take a live look. And then you're like, radar.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no.
Well, because I was telling David, like, can you please tell him? And Jesse was like, I don't know if the cord will stretch. I should have just walked over.
Dang it. That's annoying.
That's okay.
Oh, well.
Seeing some like 40 mile per hour wind gusts in some of those storms, like
Okay.
near Nashville,
A little farther
Hastings.
north. Nothing's
Yeah.
showing up on our hail detection, interestingly enough, but there could be some very small hail within those, and we're getting some reports of that. Yeah, at least I got to it eventually.
No. It
After-
actually came up right before I was like about to move on.
About to give up.
Well, it was one of those things where I felt like I think I'm drowning.
Yeah.
But because I was like, why am I seeing that screen?
Yeah.
But it changed.
So we're still just watching this cell mainly. I mean, Bronson, you're going to see some strong winds. Gilead. These are definitely the strongest winds that I'm seeing at this time. I think some of these brighter reds are like 40 to 60 maybe miles per hour.
Yeah, there's a pretty decent gust showing up
Oh yeah.
near Burr Oak right now,
Yeah, this guy, that orange.
right along US 12, kind of just north of US 12.
Yeah.
Are you seeing anything on that line that's coming to Kalamazoo?
No, nothing overly impressive, but
Okay.
maybe some like 30, 40 mile per
Yeah.
hour gusts.
I'm sure you picked up. They trimmed Bering County out of the watch, right?
We did. Yeah,
Yep.
we saw that.
You guys were, come on.
Come on.
Like, you're like, yeah, Keith, that was 5 minutes ago.
We got it.
But you know, I'm on the TV side, so
Yeah.
You know.
I'm like lagging.
Yeah, this area right along US 12 right now would be the most convincing possible 60 mile per hour winds. That's just southwest of Burr Oak. It's going to be pushing into western Branch County along US 12 here shortly.
Looks to be strengthening too. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, dang.
could be like, look at it play out.
And we'll have to watch that for maybe a little spin up potential as well. Sometimes you can get something.
Yeah.
Let's see, nothing overly concerning right now, but
Yeah, not seeing any rotation, but some pretty strong winds in the Burr Oak, Bronson area, heading towards Bronson, I should say.
yeah. So Colin is talking about. Here, let me see. Where the heck? Oh, there. This is the area of interest right here, between Burr Oak and Fawn River. It's gonna stretch a little farther northeast along Bronson. There's that latest scan that Colin was just seeing, I think. All right. I don't have my earpiece in for now.
I can
I'm-
tell.
Oh, I know. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, okay.
But want to do the same thing at 6? Is that kind of the plan, Keith?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Sounds good. And then I'll try to get your.
I know. I didn't. I know.
Okay.
My
just-
bad on the Juneteenth. I did not change the graphic. That was another reason that I'm like, oh no.
Brad, we
That
got
one's-
your comment. Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you,
yeah.
buddy. I know. You'll see. It'll be corrected at 6.
That one's an easy one to miss because we have it built slightly differently in our graphics. It's, anyways,
I have to go
technical.
I have to physically go change the 7 day,
Yeah.
and I just didn't even think of it.
Yeah, those holiday icons. Sometimes we miss them because we. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to go in and like actually move it.
Actually, we do.
It doesn't
have,
do it by itself. It'd
Yeah.
be very convenient if it was like tagged to the day. But
We actually have the authority to move it, and we have done so.
it is done. Yeah, we move the holidays around willy nilly.
We moved them.
Yeah, this is definitely strengthening a little bit. I see
Yeah.
what you're
So
saying.
it sounds like we're getting some reports of the sirens going off and Three Rivers and Sturgis. That's just from a severe thunderstorm warning.
Huh.
Severe thunderstorm warning doesn't even include Three Rivers. So
was
maybe
gonna
you're
say.
hearing some
Also,
sirens in the distance.
they just
possibly.
extended the warning. So that new flashing orange that you're seeing there, everybody, they've now extended the warning into, let me see, I'll get this to
severe
update.
thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, severe thunderstorm. Still
So
not
6:15.
updated. Hold on. Come on.
6:15.
You can do it.
Northeastern St. Joe County, and then also Branch. Is that the one they moved? They just moved it.
Yeah,
They just
so they
extended it.
extended it now till 6:15.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get.
Yeah.
Okay. So now if you're in Coldwater, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. Colon, you already kind of were. But pretty much all of St. Joe's or all of Branch County is included in this new warning. And that I think in large part because we're seeing this uptick in wind right now. So yeah, Bronson, indoors away from windows, especially if you have larger trees. If you have larger trees and have a basement, I would get under there. That's a pretty nice little impulse of strong wind. That's just south of Burr Oak, pushing northeast along US 12, right for Bronson. Gilead, man, yeah, it's maintaining it. I'm going to switch this over to just a different radar. Yeah, we'll have to watch that. Sometimes as those sort of like turn a little bit,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will say this area very far away from radar, so it's hard to get an exact estimate of the wind speed at the surface. But either way, if it's not at the surface, some really strong winds just above the surface
Thank you.
near Bronson. Radar is estimating like 70-mile-per-hour winds with a
Does
little
anything
tiny
nice?
isolated area.
I found this out.
Video input 2 doesn't bother you, right? That doesn't affect you guys, right?
Oh, cool.
No, yeah. So there's, I didn't know that until recently. You can do that. So we're playing around with an iPad right here, but yeah. So those are 70 plus.
mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah. So this
In
little
a very
cluster,
isolated area.
that would definitely be enough where we could see some damage, everybody. So this right here is what we're talking about. Potential 70 plus mile-per-hour winds.
Where's that?
Near Burr Oak right now, Keith, right along the St.
Burr Oak
Joseph.
and Bronson
Oh,
area.
that's what this.
Yeah, there's one little pocket of really strong wind.
Okay.
So hearing some reports of some local street flooding in Hastings as well with that
Oh, hey, tornado warning.
storm.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so
not
they
shocked. That's what I was just saying.
David, we have a tornado warning.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang on to it.
So that cell that we were just tracking, that's producing some really strong winds right now, just
Yeah,
in the
it's
Bronson
in that new
area. Now
storm.
it has a tornado warning.
That's what I was saying. When those start kind of taking that shape, that's where it kind of gets my attention.
Yeah.
So, Branch County, this includes Madison.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Tight rotation right now.
Okay.
Tightening rotation, I should say.
So do you want to switch this over once we go live?
Yeah. So basically, what we're
Yeah,
going to do now is we have to
go right to keep.
break into.
So Colin, as soon as we go, either you or Katie go switch it over. I
Okay.
would just go down there.
Okay.
I would leave this and then just take this down.
You have Will's mic on too.
Yeah, I need to turn my mic on. How much time?
30.
Do you want me to steer? Can I steer with
Yes, you
max
can.
2?
Can you take
Can they
Max 2?
quickly
Can we
get to
quickly
max
code
2?
Max 2 or not? Can you quickly get to Max?
Shoot. Hold on, I'm coming.
I'll talk.
We can solve.
If they can't, that's all right.
Sometimes you just start with max 1, but if they could get to max 2, that would be
Okay.
helpful.
Yeah, start with max 1 and then
This is what we're looking at
then
there, right?
next.
Yeah.
All right, open is next. Weather graphics are next.
We are right now looking live here on our radar at a tornado warning that is in effect now for a portion of Branch County. That area right along US 12 in western. We are right now looking live here on our radar at a tornado warning that is in effect now for a portion of Branch County. That area, that yellow, that red that you see right there, right along US 12 in westernmost Branch County is what we're looking at. Here's the way it looks from the National Weather Service. Again, this just issued just out from the National Weather Service office in northern Indiana, a tornado warning for this area that you're going to see that is shaded in red. There you go. You can see that red polygon right there right now, and that includes Bronson area, certainly up to around Madison. That is along M86 there near Batavia Center. It's this area where you see the reds and the greens together that we're looking at this tornado warning. This is primarily now in western Branch County, stretching from around US 12, just north of US 12, all the way up to the border with Calhoun County there, Branch and Calhoun County. And so you can see some of the communities there. Madison, Girard, you're in that as well. As Will is putting a track on this right now, we're going to show you where this is going to be heading next. Tornado warning again for Branch County. If you are along or north of US 12 in Branch County and west of I-69, those are your markers. If you're along or north of US 12 in Branch County and west of I-69, then you should be taking cover because you have a tornado warning. You can see we're looking at Bronson here at 5:33, as well as Madison and Union City coming up at about 5:50 there. Burlington Township in that as well. Marshall at 6:12. So we're going to continue to watch this. Now, this warning, by the way, only goes until 6 o'clock. And as you can see, it does stop short of the Calhoun County area there. So we're talking about tornado warning right now in Branch County. If you are along or north of US 12 and you're west of I-69, certainly if you're along M86 right now, that's where you need to be taking cover. You can see that red polygon there that is in the middle of the orange polygon. That orange polygon is a severe thunderstorm warning. That
That covers all of Branch County and easternmost St. Joe County, including Calhoun. But it's that area in red right now where we're really concerned. This is a radar indicated tornado. As we showed you just a few moments ago with our velocity product here, we're looking at the potential of rotating wind there. And this is going to be mainly right now, right along and north of US 12, right inside the Branch County line. So once again, if you are in Branch County, in fact, that area right there is where we're looking at, where you see that bright yellow with that little embedded area there, that's where there could be some rotating wind. This is certainly very strong wind that's coming in right now. Very strong wind that's moving in with this as we see that area of red and green that's together. So this would be south of M86, south of Madison, southeast of Calhoun, and northwest of Bronson. If that's you, you must be taking cover right now because there could be a tornado right now. This is headed to the northeast. So this is going to be moving toward M86. This is all going on west of Coldwater and west of I-69. And with this polygon, that will keep things west of Coldwater. But again, if you're west of Coldwater and if you are east of Calhoun, if you're east of the Branch Calhoun or Branch St. Joe County line, then you should be taking cover as this is moving off to the northeast.
Yeah, regardless, Keith, what we were noticing with this cell, this severe thunderstorm warning, there was this little pocket of really intense wind. And that's sometimes what we can start to see with these sort of embedded tornadoes. Is you see a slight impulse in the wind, like a little pocket of really stronger wind. And then we started to notice a little rotation kind of embedded within that. So that brighter area of red right in the center of your screen, what Keith was mentioning, even if we don't necessarily see a tornado from this, which it is tornado warned, there is that potential. It's right now radar indicated, but there were wind speeds estimated at 70 plus mile per hour, even outside of a tornado. So that's enough to warrant enough concern where I want you inside, away from windows, preferably underground, lowest floor of your home, most interior room.
Yeah, and Will and Colin, as a matter of fact, just a few moments ago, were on our live stream on YouTube and Facebook, and I did overhear them talking about this building wind that is now turned into a very strong wind with possible rotation. So we're on the air right now to tell you about a tornado warning. It looks like those winds are intensifying. That is very strong wind.
And not to be overlooked too, Keith, but Colon down towards Gilead, Kinderhook, there's also some strong winds moving in there. While we don't necessarily see the rotation, those brighter orangish red colors that you're seeing, that's the potential for 60 plus mile per hour wind. So again, we're focusing a lot on this tornado warning, but there's also kind of a larger story here, which is a severe thunderstorm warning that encompasses pretty much all of St. Joseph County. That goes through 6:15. That tornado warning, as Keith was mentioning, is only for another 25 minutes. This storm is moving. The tornado warning is moving to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So that is moving pretty quickly. And then farther south, these storms, as you work your way a little farther to the southeast, are moving even quicker. So they're going to be in and out fairly rapidly. But with that, I think that also kind of heightens that wind risk as well.
So just to reiterate right now, we have a tornado warning that goes until 6 o'clock for Branch County here. This is radar indicated, but these are some very strong winds right now. If you are north of US 12 and if you're south of M86, in Branch County, you should be taking cover immediately. And if you're north of M86 here, all the way up to the Branch and Calhoun County border there, this is all west of I-69, then you should be taking cover because this is headed your way. Again, a tornado warning that goes until 6 o'clock, and Will is showing you there, that's about where we're seeing the rotation. This is about to move right over Madison, right over M86 there. So we're north of Bronson. And as this continues to move to the northeast, it's headed your way, Girard, right there close to I-69. So again, if you are along or north of M86 in Branch County, then you really should be taking cover right now all the way up to the Calhoun County border there, again, west of I-69.
Some roads just to shout out, Keith, would be Babcock Road in Madison, I can't read that.
That's too small there.
All
the way up to, let's say, he already mentioned Barnhart Road. This is all west or in the vicinity of North Snow Prairie Road. That's what we're talking about here. So this is right to the north of US 12, but right along M86. These are very strong winds with some signs of rotation. So we're on the air right now with a tornado warning. And as Will mentioned, by the way, this is part of that severe thunderstorm warning that extends with some very strong winds right now in southern Branch County. So if you're closer to I-69 south of Coldwater, then you also should be thinking about taking cover because there could be some wind gusts here of up to 70 miles per hour.
And Justin, Keith, they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning now for Calhoun County as well. So we'll get the latest on that here in just a second. That just came down seconds ago. It looks like that warning is going to go through 6:30.
Radar indicated wind of 60. As you can see on the screen right now, Will has that up for you. So again, if you're in Teconcha, if you're in Teconcha, I would say you should get to a storm shelter or a place of safety. You can see now the tornado warning's been trimmed. This is sort of going with the motion of the storm as it moves to the northeast. But still, Madison, right there around Batavia Center there along M86 and north, all the way up to the border there with Calhoun County, just to the south of Teconcha, you should be taking cover. If you're in Girard, good idea to take cover. This is all going on west of I-69. This is all west of I-69. And right now it's going on between M86 there and then also that is M60. So between M86 and M60. If you're in that area, Branch County between M86 and M60, you really should be taking cover. This is near Sherwood, but just to the east of Sherwood, and it looks like just to the west of Girard. But if you're in those vicinities as well, you should be taking cover. Here's a look at live Doppler radar right now. You can see those orange shadings there. That's pretty much all of Calhoun County now and pretty much all of Branch County included in a severe thunderstorm warning. But where you see that little sliver of red there, that is where we have the polygon for the tornado warning. Again, this is covering northwest Branch County. If you are between M86 and the Branch Calhoun County line, then you should be taking cover. This wind and the velocity product is still quite strong, as Will mentioned, even if we're not getting rotation, but it does look like there is rotation there.
Yeah, basically the fact that kind of curls back to the west has our attention, and that's what we were seeing as it kind of picked up in terms of velocity. You see kind of that shape right there with that arrow that I drew.
Yeah,
that's kind of what we see with some of these embedded tornadoes. It just kind of caught my eye right away. That's a lot of times the classic signature here in Southwest Michigan when we see these sort of usually lower end tornadoes kind of embedded in a larger line. National Weather Service, Keith, also mentioned a little area of some rotation near Mattawan. I hadn't really seen that. They said to a far lesser degree compared to down in Branch County, but nonetheless, just worth mentioning. I'm kind of scanning through. I don't really necessarily see what they were referencing too much off the bat, but nothing jumping off the page right there. And then you can kind of see those reds and greens a lot more notable down there in Branch County.
Branch County between M86 and the Calhoun Branch County line right now is under a tornado warning. You see that red box there. It's radar indicated, but it's a pretty good signature, at least for our area anyway. We don't usually see really good positive signatures. This is going to go until 6 o'clock. Now, in the meantime, as Will mentioned, and there you can see that map, the orange is where we have severe thunderstorm warnings. It is all of Branch County now because the area of thunderstorms that right now is from Coldwater south all the way into northern Indiana. There could be some very strong winds there, 60 plus, and certainly now into Calhoun County. Marshall, we're looking at you. Athens, definitely looking at you. Athens there, and also in Battle Creek. As these thunderstorms roll in, there could be winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Could even be a little bit of hail coming down here as well as this moves off to the northeast. So it's headed your way. But again, of most importance right now is the tornado warning for some very strong winds with possible rotation north of M86, right around Batavia Center, right around Madison, moving up toward the Girard area west of I-69 in northern Branch County.
Yeah, and just the wider scope view here, just showing that the storms are becoming a lot more widespread while we still have kind of the southeastern quadrant, if you will, of our viewing area. Most kind of in the line of fire right now for the strongest storms. There's still some really torrential rain that's going to happen within some of these cells that are sort of back building off to the west. There's also some lightning, some thunder. Of note is we had some rainfall rates earlier, just some of the highest we've ever seen with some of the cells that were over Berry County. And we did have Colin is here as well. He's monitoring the feeds from the National Weather Service. There were some reports of some low-lying flooding right there, Colin, up in Berry County with some of those heavy rain pockets.
Got a power outage report. 3,000 now reported out in the area around Calhoun. 3,000 already outages reported around Calhoun. But, we have had quite an active season already, with numerous thunderstorms that have knocked out power to tens of thousands of people, even hundreds of thousands. So here we go again. In this particular case, it looks like Calhoun right now, 3,000 reported out in that area. You can see that line of thunderstorms, by the way, has now moved past Calhoun. But what we're looking at now is this tornado warning. If you are in Branch County, if you are between M86 and the Calhoun Branch County line, you need to be taking cover immediately. This is all going on west of Coldwater. That latest scan there, you can see where we have that bright yellow. That's what we're talking about right here. Girard, you need to be in your tornado shelter or some place of cover right now in Girard. This is headed your way. Concha, probably a good idea to go ahead and do that as well, as this is all headed toward Concha, Burlington, Girard.
And quickly, I'll just register. I mean, look at that. So 70-mile-per-hour winds still being noted within this cell. So I just basically queried some of the data, basically just clicked on some of those pixels right there, and the radar is still depicting 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So even tornado, no tornado, that's enough to bring down mature trees, to still do quite a bit of damage. Not shocked given the wind caliber we're seeing, that we're already seeing outages as well. I think we will, if this maintains its strength, this will continue to be strong enough to cause at least some localized outages within this main line of storms. So I'll turn the warnings back on so we can again see those. The tornado warning continuing for at least another 17 more minutes if it's not canceled a little early. I will say the rotation maybe not looking as impressive as it once was about maybe 5-10 minutes ago, but still the wind is. So while the rotation component to this is starting to weaken somewhat, it's not necessarily spinning in that classic sense. It still has some really intense wind speeds. And for that reason, I think they'll likely maintain that tornado warning until we see these winds kind of pushing out of that warning polygon. But again, this is a part of a larger severe thunderstorm warning. That tornado warning is like a little sliver of it almost. That includes pretty much all of St. Joseph County. Or not St. Joseph, all of Branch County, a portion of St. Joseph County through 6:15. And that's for radar indicated wind gusts of 60, which is certainly what we're seeing. And then farther north again, while no significant storms quite yet are pushing in, we're going to have to monitor these as they lift into Calhoun County as well.
Calhoun County going until 6:30, and you can see that orange shading there. It's just about all of Calhoun County, and it does include Battle Creek.
Yes.
It includes Athens, East Leroy, also Marshall, and right up and down I-69,
And
Albion.
this is that
too.
line we're talking about. So it's just pushing into Athens, I mentioned, which Keith mentioned a little earlier. And this will continue to lift off to the northeast pretty quickly. I think at about 45 miles per hour is the storm motion on that one.
They just trimmed that tornado warning. They just trimmed it now. And so now it is an even smaller area there, Branch County. And so as this continues to move to the northeast, so does the threat. Girard, you need to be in a storm shelter right now if you're in Girard. This is all going on west of I-69 in northern Branch County here as this continues to move to the north. Right now, only radar indicated. I don't think we've seen any confirmation from any spotters, any storm spotters that are out there. However, radar does indicate, as Will said, even if this is not rotating, it is a very strong pocket of wind that is just about to blow into Girard right now and to blow across I-69. And as Will is going to track this here, this is eventually going to move toward Battle Creek, toward Marshall, and toward Albion as well.
Yeah, and I would honestly shave maybe a minute off of each of these because the radar just updated. But Battle Creek right around 6 is when this leading edge is going to be pushing through. That potential for upwards of 60-mile-per-hour winds. Penfield, closer to about 6:08. Albion, closer to about 6:15. Charlotte, 6:30. And then eventually into Eaton Rapids, a little closer to 6:37.
You know, also, if you happen to know some people maybe who are out at Binder Park at the zoo right now,
Yeah,
they definitely
time to
need
get to your
be-
car.
Yeah, get to your car, get to a place of shelter right now, because these storms are going to be moving in and they're going to pack quite a punch with some very strong wind.
Yeah,
and
we're
again,
on top of Athens right now.
and so that's headed your way there, moving right up M60, M66 there, moving right up the highway there, headed toward Athens and eventually Battle Creek. There you can see that polygon.
Yep, I was just going to say, here's that area of interest for the still tornado warning. Still a little rotation, but it's just not quite as strong as it once was. But if you're in Girard, or especially just west of Girard, that probably still includes some Girard addresses, I would think. But south of Burlington, just south of Concha, that's kind of the northern edge of that warning is the county line between Calhoun and Branch County, just for reference. And in that latest scan, there's still, there's
Yeah.
still that red and green right next to each other. So, and honestly, it looks like it's kind of getting its act together again a little bit.
It'll be interesting to see what happens as we get closer to 6. And as this gets closer to the line, to see if the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids will post a tornado warning here for Concha, for Burlington, for southern Calhoun County. But even if it doesn't, there is still an existing severe thunderstorm warning for Calhoun County that goes until 6:30. There could be wind. Radar indicated 60, but as Will showed you just a few moments ago, a little bit earlier, I think you could make a case for 70-mile-per-hour winds, even though it does look like the wind speed's starting to maybe decrease just a little bit.
Yeah, so I was just checking the feed with the National Weather Service, Keith. No updated signs of debris or damage right now from the Michigan side of things. There are some reports just to the south associated with some of these storms. So those will likely trickle in here within the next hour or so, but definitely still an interesting rotation feature that we need to keep tabs on in northern Branch County.
And noted, did you note any debris signature?
I did not. I can, that's actually a great point, Keith.
Yeah,
Let me scrub through that really quickly just to see if we see anything here. So this was, if you remember back on May 15th, we saw numerous debris signatures throughout that night. And I don't see anything compared to what we saw then. What we would be looking for here with this debris detection tool would be like a little dot that would kind of mirror that area of rotation.
What about just to the east of Colon? I know we're going back into time just a little bit, but if you stretch that up to the, now watch this as you put it and see if you see anything. Did you see that? Just a little bit of a flash.
Yeah,
through, and I
might be maybe some like leaves and stuff, but not in that. Well, that's right there. There was maybe one scan. If you saw that, it's hard to even
northwest of Madison
cursor
there. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that would have coincided perhaps with that area of rotation, but that's not quite as strong of a signature as we saw a few weeks ago, or about a month ago.
If you're in northern Branch County, if you're near Girard right now, if you're west of Girard, west of I-69 in northern Branch County, you're under a tornado warning and you should take cover. If you're in anywhere in Calhoun County right now, except for the northwesternmost corner there around Battle Creek, northwest of Battle Creek, you really should be monitoring here for strong winds. Could see some gusts of 60 to 70 mile per hour winds here as they come right on through.
Yeah.
But particularly so right now there, right along M60 there where it crosses I-69 and then all the way up to Marshall, Battle Creek, and Albion, areas of concern.
Yeah, and one thing I was just kind of checking in there with Keith is the fact that the leading edge is pretty much through Kalamazoo already. So I don't want to necessarily jump the gun too early, but I'm pretty sure, I mean, Kalamazoo should be out of the woods here as far as severe weather threat very shortly, as far as any wind or tornado potential. So if you're in Kalamazoo, I'm not overly concerned. Van Buren County as well, you're just in what we call the stratiform rain region, not going to see anything too scary there. So while the heavy rain threat is going to persist for another several hours, we still could have some lightning flashes. So I do want you to be mindful of that. But right now, this kind of eastern edge and southeastern portion of our viewing area of this line of storms is definitely what we're still going to monitor. Farther to the north and northwest, I'm a little less concerned. So overall, it looks like the tornado warning still continues for at least another 5 to 10 minutes, but this will probably push out of the county, I would think, even before then. So we'll see.
Yeah, and if we do lose that tornado warning at 6 o'clock, if it's not extended into Calhoun County, then we'll go back to our regular news coverage because that will be at the top of the hour for News Channel 3 at 6. But right now, we're
just south of Teconcha still. There's still, when you look at it on a different radar product, there's still a little bit of some rotation. It's not super fast wind speeds that I'm seeing, but it's still a little bit where I wouldn't be shocked if there was a little wall cloud rotating thunderstorm base a little south of Teconcha. That would be along Marshall Road and right where that intersects with US Highway 27. I'm not sure.
Just south
near,
of Teconcha.
Yeah, exactly. Just south of Teconcha. So that's definitely still worth monitoring closely. But the fact they haven't extended the warning into southern Calhoun County is maybe a good sign. Yeah,
but remember, even so, Burlington, Clarendon Township, you probably need to be monitoring this closely if you're along M60 there, because this is going to be some very strong winds that could be moving into your area, even though it's weakening. Remember, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning. That is for Calhoun County, and that's going to continue, I believe, until 6:30. And so you need to just to keep up with us on that so that we can keep you advised. But right now, the reason that we're on is because we have that tornado warning. It only has about another 8 minutes to go. It will expire at 6 o'clock. But right now, if you are in Girard, if you're west of Girard, then you should be taking cover if you're in northern Branch County, as this is going to be headed in your way. So right now we're looking right along West Girard Road. We're looking at Hodunk. You're right in the middle of it there.
Yeah.
And then right onto Burlington Road. If those sound familiar to you, then you should be taking cover if you're in Branch County. And again, if you're just across the line up toward M60 there, around Burlington, also to Concha, then you probably need to be monitoring this closely, because as Will has mentioned and shown you, even though it may not be a spinning wind, it may not be a rotating wind, there could be some winds gusting in excess of 60 miles per hour. We're going to hang with this until we get to 6 o'clock and to see what happens. It looks probable that they will allow this to expire.
Yeah, at least right now.
At least for now.
And what I'm drawing on here, Keith, by the way, if you're on this side of that line, you're pretty much in the clear.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident in that. So we'll still have to monitor this if you're in Battle Creek, but could even extend this a little farther north perhaps. But basically what I'm just trying to show there, if you're in Van Buren County, most of Kalamazoo County right now, St. Joseph County, the worst is finished right now.
So Three Rivers and Sturgis, it's been a bit of a rough ride with some gusty winds, but I think you're going to be all right now. And, you know, stretches from around Allegan to right around Battle Creek. So it does go over Gull Lake, for example, right now. But it'll be moving out pretty soon. You can see the motion here as Will puts this to work. We have about 6.5 minutes left on that tornado warning. So a tornado warning for northern Branch County. This is west of I-69. And this is right now moving just to the south of the Branch Calhoun County line. So if you're in that area right now, as we mentioned earlier, around West Girard Road, around Hodunk, around East Union City Road, also looking at Burlington Road, if those sound familiar to you, then you should be taking cover. And if you're in southern Calhoun County right now, you need to keep an eye on this. And all of Calhoun County continues under a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 6:30. This is for radar indicated winds that could be up to or in excess of 60 miles per hour. Will's checking the latest on the feed right now to see if there's any reports that are out.
Yeah. It looks like they are going to allow that to expire at 6. And from what I'm seeing from the National Weather Service in northern Indiana, they're monitoring that area of rotation, but it's, in their words, weakened a bit, and they're watching it closely in case it starts to tighten up, which is something that we sometimes do see. Sometimes these weaken, and then they kind of re-strengthen, and it almost cycles. And the wind speeds, like we were mentioning, not quite what they were, but there still is a little area of rotation right over to Concha. It doesn't look overly impressive right now, which is probably why they still haven't extended that warning, but
well, and if you were to look at it over the last 30 minutes, you would definitely see where it's weakened quite a bit, because
yes,
even just 15, 20 minutes ago, it looked very convincing that there would be winds in excess of 60 miles per hour with some rotation. But now, not nearly as strong.
Not nearly as pronounced on there either, as far as the clear-cut signature of rotation.
Which is likely why this tornado warning will probably be allowed to expire at 6 o'clock. But we will continue then with a severe thunderstorm warning.
There we go. You can see it a little better on the northern Indiana radar, which is hitting a little higher in the storm, though, because it's farther from the radar. But overall, it looks like that is pushing into Calhoun County pretty much as we speak. So that tornado warning might even expire. They might cancel it
a little bit early.
I wouldn't be surprised if any second now we see that.
So at 6 o'clock, we'll be able to go back to our News Channel 3 coverage there. But right now, as long as we have that tornado warning active, we do want to stay on the air covering it, even though it does look like the threat now is really starting to abate. And even as it moves into southern Calhoun County, as we've noted, the wind speeds do seem to be decreasing just a little bit. And also the signs of rotation are just not there as they were just about 10 to 15 minutes ago. And that echoes likely what Will had read from the National Weather Service, coming out with the winds that seem to be diminishing, and with the storm opening up just a little bit, not as much of a sign of a tight rotation.
Yeah, so Branch County warning continues through 6:15. So that still includes cold water.
Thunderstorm warning.
This is fair thunderstorm, correct? Did I say tornado warning?
No, you just said warning.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, thanks for specifying. The tornado warning for Branch County could be gone any second, but technically that was through 6 p.m. Then as we look a little farther north, this includes Battle Creek, Calhoun County through 6:30. So this is primarily a wind threat, still that same line that lifted through Branch County. but still that threat of 60-mile-per-hour winds. There's still a pretty decent leading edge of these storms that's lifting into Calhoun County as we speak. If I flip this over to radar, you're going to see it pushing just now into downtown Battle Creek. So Battle Creek's going to be seeing some really heavy rain, some gusty winds. Fredonia, a little south of Marshall, trekking along I-69 up into the Marshall area. Going to see an uptick in rain here shortly, and also that gusty wind again. Severe thunderstorm warning continues there. Albion also included in that, and then Clarendon as well. So along M60 right now, there's some really strong winds and also some really heavy rain. And we're still going to monitor that area that had the tornado warning, because like I said, sometimes these little areas of rotation can cycle. And I will say in the last 2 scans, it looks even less impressive, which is a great sign there. But overall, right along the leading edge of this line, there still could be some 60-mile-per-hour gusts. And with that, we're going to stay with this for just a couple more minutes before our newscast. But
just a couple more minutes, and then we'll be joining our News Channel 3 Live at 6 coverage. So going to go ahead and pitch it over right now to Jessica, and go ahead.
Thanks, Keith. Yeah, we've been tracking Consumers Energy. The outage map now is showing about 4,300 people affected. This is mainly around Calhoun. Also some outages reported just east of Sturgis. That's about 200 people. And we're also seeing a few outages just south of Battle Creek as well. So overall, about 4,300 people affected so far with the power outage map with Consumers Energy.
We continue to watch this as it moves off to the north and east here. You can see now that it doesn't look nearly as imposing. We're about a minute away here from seeing this severe thunderstorm warning go away, the tornado warning go away. So we're going to keep an eye on it as well, and we'll hold here until that warning has expired, which will be momentarily here. And then, of course, we'll begin with our News Channel 3 Live at 6 coverage. That's going to be coming up in about an hour. In a minute. So here you can see what we're looking at here with this polygon as I get a little bit closer. Again, this warning continues for about another 30 seconds, 45 seconds or so, and then it will be going away. But you can see as we continue to see with that wind direction and speed, that's what we were looking at there. It was looking rather impressive, but now as it continues to move off to the northeast, notice we do still have some strong winds there, and we do continue with that severe thunderstorm warning. And that's going to be the case here for Calhoun County, and that's going to continue as well until 6:30. So we'll continue to monitor that as well for the potential there for some very strong winds. So I'm going to pitch it back to Andy and Jessica now, and we'll begin our news coverage on News Channel 3.
And good evening. If you're just joining us, just tuning in to News Channel 3 Live at 6, we are on weather alert at this hour. Our weather team.
All righty. So give me 1 second. The tornado warning has expired, so that's the good news there. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning in Calhoun County until 6:30 p.m. So Will and I are going to be continuing in just a second. I'm going to make my screen a little shorter. Just give me 1 second here. The audio is going to give me some feedback if I talk. Okay, so we still have a severe thunderstorm warning in Calhoun County right now. That storm continues to move to the north and the east. The tornado warning has been expired, but we're going to continue to watch this severe thunderstorm warning here on this stream. News Channel 3 Live at 6 is ongoing, so I'm going to be quiet as I enter into the studio and head to the Weather Center real quick.
Slide this up, you can see there's a warning out for Calhoun County and goes until 6:30. That's one thing. Thunderstorm will continue to have radar indicating winds of 60 miles per hour. Those are the only warnings.
All right, you're back.
good stuff. All right. Yeah, there was a confusion because we ended seconds before our show, and then there was miscommunication if I was going to be in first weather still.
Okay.
Anyways, we figured it out. Thanks, Colin. All right, so we're not wall to wall anymore. Fun fact. We're
Fun
not
fact.
on TV anymore. Well, we are, but just not on the tornado warning. I can drive the radar from in here though. What I need to do is still prep something for the 6th though, I think, because I think I'll still be in big weather.
Okay.
I think. Anyways, Keith's on the air right now. I'm listening to him at the same time. Yeah, I don't really see quite as intensive winds. Would you echo that, Colin? Because when it switches over to Grand Rapids, it doesn't look as
Yeah,
impressive.
it looks like it's weakening, which is good news, but that's been the theme as these storms just continue to move off to the north and the east.
Yeah. All right.
But
yeah, because that's hitting high on the storm. It was interesting that rotation kind of still held in to Concha here. If you want to use that for a little bit.
okay.
It still was, for just a few scans, it still was kind of showing a little rotation, but now it looks like nothing, which is good.
Some straight line winds.
So we'd be curious if anyone has any damage. I can check really quickly. Let me see I'm pulling up the consumers.
So it looks like they had a 47 mile per hour wind gust at Battle Creek Airport. So
okay.
Not quite severe, but still some gusty winds moving through that area of Battle Creek. And a couple of trees and wires down reported in Burlington and Athens Township as well.
Yep.
That's in southwest Calhoun County.
Two most impressive outages right now are in the Colon area, which we reported on during our live coverage. Would also include portions of Sherwood Township, but Colon, it looks like pretty much all of Colon out of power, extending down through the Palmer Lake area, Long Lake area. But right now, only about 5,000 customers without power, which is nothing compared to what we saw with the two other high impact severe weather events we've had so far this season, where we had like tens of thousands. There's a few other isolated outages, it looks like, a little farther north. I'm not even positive which township this is in, but not far, like a little southeast of Scotts, there's an outage. There's a couple isolated outages a little south of Battle Creek, like near Beckley Road, and it looks like, or some cross streets, Helmer Road, Betts Road. There's another outage there. So nothing too widespread as far as power outages right now. They're fairly isolated, but like I said, the biggest ones are in the Colon area that we're seeing, which would coincide with that severe thunderstorm that blew through that eventually produced the tornado warning. But again, nothing to report as far as a confirmed tornado. And Keith reminded me on air to check the debris, which we scanned through that. Colin, I don't know if you were watching. And,
yeah.
There was nothing as far as like a debris signature. So
that's good. Right now, it looks like the strongest winds is near Homer, just northeast of Homer, with that severe thunderstorm warning in Calhoun County. But does not look severe criteria to me. This storm looks to be weakening, which is some good news.
Yeah.
Still some gusty winds, some heavy rain, but
yeah, Branch County, you're pretty much out of it. You're still under the severe thunderstorm warning, but they'll probably drop that any second. So it looks like the leading edge is pushing into Hillsdale County and then Jackson County as well. Oh man, I left my water out in the studio, and when I talk for a bunch, my throat gets dry. But,
got you.
Oh, Colin, I wasn't saying to go get it, but
I need to grab my water too.
Okay, yeah, I did see yours out there. Thank you. All right, now I'm all alone in here, but yeah, Battle Creek, I would also be interested to see some of the rainfall rates that we're seeing with this. Still some rain on the back edge. If you missed it while we were on TV, though, what I can pretty definitively say is that if you're in Kalamazoo County, Van Buren County, Allegan County, Berrien Cass, St. Joseph County, and even now I would include Branch County, you're now not in really the height of the threat. It's winding down. You're good to go. There still could be some heavy rain, lightning, thunder tonight, but overall the severe weather threat is ending. I would say if you're in Battle Creek, still want you inside away from windows. And we'll still monitor this up in north of Allegan in northern Berry County up into Hastings. Hastings, though, you already saw some really torrential rain and some gusty winds, but right now there's no warning as these storms, this line that's pushing through Berry is looking a little under impressive as far as the wind potential, but we'll still just have to monitor it close. And then a little farther south as well, some gusts going to pick up in Marshall pretty much any second, if not already, and then extending down to about M60 through Clarendon. And Albion also going to see a little uptick in the wind speed, but we're not seeing anything as far as rotation like we were. I don't know how long ago that was now, maybe 30, 45 minutes ago now.
Yeah.
Hey, do you need the live camera?
Only No. I just need you to go down to the pad on the far left on the bottom tab there.
Oh,
Yep.
yes.
Yep, and just give me the parametallic. That's
Okay.
all I need. I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Sorry for the confusion at the beginning. I don't know what happened. Like, yeah, we'll talk
What's
about
that?
it later.
What's that? No. How are you doing on time?
Do you want me in big weather?
Do you want big weather?
I'm indifferent. It's I could probably prep something maybe on like rainfall really quick. Are you covering that? Rainfall reports?
Okay. Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay.
You want me?
But that'll be for big weather.
Big weather.
We'll do it like we were going to do first weather. I'm sorry about that, Emily. I asked Jesse. I was like, "Is Will in?" And Will said Will's out. So I apologize for that.
There's just a miscommunication. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, Melody, Branch County
Okay.
is
Sorry.
pretty much in the clear now.
Yeah,
They'll
even-
probably cancel that watch early.
Yeah, it's a little confusing because there is still that severe thunderstorm warning, but we're giving you the early all clear, even though that warning is, they just haven't pulled it down yet. They probably will any second. So because that leading edge is now out of there, you can see if we freeze frame it now. So it's also good for Hillsdale County. They haven't extended that warning. So that's a good sign that, generally speaking, things are hopefully weakening, but what you still can't be totally off guard from is a potential for a little areas of embedded rotation. But right now, the main area of concern would be Marshall up into Albion. And overall, this isn't, the velocity that we're seeing, the wind speeds that we're seeing register on radar are not what they were when these were pushing into St. Joseph and Branch counties. So I'm not as concerned as I was like an hour ago as these were pushing in. And the storms are also, by the way, going to continue probably to lift farther northeast, and hopefully, the bulk of this could be out of here. What's that showing? Do you see that? That's not real, right?
No.
We'll see. Yeah, our models sometimes are showing some interesting things. I don't know if I buy that secondary wave that it's showing close to like 8. I think this is probably it. There aren't any cells off to the southwest that I was seeing, right? Maybe a little bit, but
A little bit
likely
near South Bend,
subsevere.
but yeah, just some heavy rain again.
yeah, I think there will be some more rain, maybe some more storms into the overnight. That's what we were just referencing, these little storms off to our southwest. But as you can see, these are not nearly the lightning producing, strong storms that we saw a couple hours ago as they were lifting into our region. So, seems like what I'm going to try and pull up really quickly, though, Colin, is I want to see. Sometimes these take a little bit to catch up.
Yeah.
But I can kind of scrub around on here. This is our rainfall totals. So this is some area rainfall reports. Yeah, so these might not be totally caught up yet.
Yeah.
This data is also loading, I think. So for some reason with this specific, there we go. So it's caught up a little. So only 1/4 of an inch is what it's showing in Kalamazoo, but I would expect maybe a little bit more than that. But you can see some bullseyes. This is now like northern. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Now it'll show me some locations a little bit better. So near Allegan, Cheshire Township in Allegan County. It looks like there were some bullseyes of rain that were over 2 inches. So, that's enough to maybe, some low spots, drains, culverts, things like that could be maybe seeing some issues there. Don't see that's over 1 inch easily, probably in portions of Van Buren County, down into Berrien County as well. But you notice how it's kind of just spotty on this rainfall, where some of these areas have seen probably 1 inch or 2, whereas others maybe saw like 1/4 of an inch. So Kalamazoo, not overly impressive as far as the rain, maybe a little heavier pocket in Parchment area. And then, just some more spotty 1+ inch areas, but we still could see more rain tonight and maybe even some more storms, but I think this is the bulk of our severe weather. Within the next hour or 2, hopefully we'll be like, everyone's all clear.
Yeah.
And so far, not much in the way of any reports of damage in our area either. And sometimes there's a little bit of a lag there, right? Because the storms are still ongoing. It looks like one tree damage report, but this is in Hillsdale County, in Litchfield. That was this from this round? Yeah, it was 6:03.
Yeah.
Power lines down. So see, I mean, and that storm wasn't even warned technically, so that was enough to bring down some power lines, at least a little farther to our east.
Yeah. Seeing some decent winds showing up right now in eastern Allegan, western Berry County, just from Hopkins down to Orangeville, north of Delton there. It's not severe warned, but don't be surprised to see those winds picking up and some pretty heavy rainfall rates as well.
Yeah, this is the area now on your screen that Colin is referencing. So from Hopkins over to Hope, all the way into northern Calhoun County. So again, if I were to draw this on this leading edge right here, the wind is picking up a little bit within this, a little bit more than it was looking a little bit ago. So we'll watch that. There's like this little narrow edge of maybe some 40 plus mile per hour winds pushing towards Gun Lake, Yankee Springs area as well.
Hold on. I got a driving live. Then I'm going to have weather graphics. Yep. And then, yep. So I'm going to have radar. When I come out of radar, I'm going to go to a GR camera, our GR camera. I'm talking to Will. So I'll have a GR camera, and then I'll pitch to you, okay? Then you do whatever you want to do, and then you pitch back to me for the forecast.
Okay.
Does that work?
I'm thinking I'm just going to show the rainfall reports, hone in on a specific area in like Allegan County.
Okay.
And then do you want me to do like are you doing Futurecast?
No, you want to do a future cast real quick?
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Just show it going
just to get out of here. Yeah.
Then pitch back to me. I'll just do a quick temp and then forecast.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Sorry, everybody. For just a second, I got to turn it off radar and prep this segment I'm going to do in just a moment on TV. I wish I could prep this separately, but we only have so many weather graphics computers.
I know. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. What do you
But yeah,
see?
that storm in Calhoun County looks to be weakening. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop the severe thunderstorm warning, to be honest with you, but just some heavy rain going on right now. Anywhere from, about to move into Wayland. It's just north of Orangeville, Delton, northeast of Battle Creek, moving into the Bellevue area. Albion is going to be seeing some heavy rain. I just don't quite see those severe level winds right now, even though there is still that severe thunderstorm warning active for another 14 minutes in northeastern Calhoun County. I think that winds have really weakened over the course of the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. Are they talking about that little line lifting into like Allegan County, Berry County at all?
No, not even a strong thunderstorm that I'm seeing, but
that's good.
But yeah, there are some, not severe level winds, but some gusty winds showing up right now in portions of western or eastern Allegan, western Berry County. So if you're in like the Wayland area, between Wayland and Irving, you can see the winds picking up here over the next few minutes. Some heavy rain as well, but we're not looking at anything severe, so shouldn't be dealing with any damage. Just a good thunderstorm moving in that area. But, most of us are now clear of severe weather. If you're anywhere, west of US 131, you're in the clear. We're still dealing with rain. We're still dealing with lightning. So, thunder roars, go outdoors. Or if thunder roars, go indoors, rather. But we still have that heavy rain threat ongoing right now, especially in a line from eastern Allegan through Berry County and into northeastern Calhoun County right now as well. So not seeing any.
And y'all, I'm just apologies for running this hour by hour, not talking about it. It's because I'm just trying to prep for our show, which is on right now. And I have an upcoming segment with Keith. So I'm trying to go through that really quickly, and then I can flip it back to radar. Hey, is my microphone? No. Okay. That's important. All right. So there's radar. Still have the one warning in Calhoun County. A little farther south, there's a few warnings with this pushing into western Ohio, but that's where there's much stronger ingredients today. All right, I gotta go. All right, you're gonna see this radar.
So right now, Will is doing a hit on News Channel 3 right now. So they were just turning on his mic, which is why we were being quiet. But he is in the studio now. So News Channel 3 obviously continues right now. If you may be watching both News Channel 3 and this live stream. We are still dealing with that severe thunderstorm warning in northeastern Calhoun County. Also, National Weather Service is continuing to watch the cell that Will and I were talking about in eastern Allegan and western Berry County as well. So moving towards the Wayland Middleville area, there could be some gusty winds. Right now, it doesn't look like they're reaching severe criteria, but some strong winds, 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts possible with that storm. It's moving north right now towards the Middleville and Irving area. Also, Wayland could get in on some stronger winds, but definitely going to notice some heavy rain, some torrential downpours. So one of those times when if you're driving, you'll certainly have to slow down. Could be some ponding out in the roadways as well. I know people heading home from work right now. Just be aware of that. Most areas of West Michigan are in the clear. We still have a severe thunderstorm watch for Allegan, Berry, Van Buren, Kalamazoo, Calhoun, and Eaton counties. But I really think that our severe threat is done in most of those areas, with the exception of far eastern Allegan and Berry County right now. There's not a severe thunderstorm warning active, but we are seeing some winds in that 40, maybe up to 50 mile per hour range. At least that's what's showing up on radar. So I'm not going to rule out a severe thunderstorm warning getting issued if those storms strengthen. But right now, Allegan, Berry County, no active warnings. The only active warning right now is in northeastern Calhoun County. But I don't see winds showing up on radar anymore that indicate that that is a severe thunderstorm. So that's some good news there. Certainly dealing with some heavy rain, though. So that'll be a concern as we move into the overnight hours. I think we're getting to the point where we're close to being clear of severe weather. But we do have that threat for some more rain tonight. So we could be dealing with some localized flooding issues on top of the heavy rain we already saw. We could be dealing with some more, rain throughout the overnight hours, just not necessarily any severe weather. So Tanya, in Kalamazoo County and Portage, Michigan, these storms have moved off to the north and the east now. So we should be pretty clear of those severe thunderstorms. Give me 1 second. I'm going back into these comments here because I think I'm behind. My phone is behind. Karen saying completely soaked leaving Meyer and Westnedge. Yeah, that rain is heavy. And Raymond, you're right. We do need the rain. We're abnormally dry across much of West Michigan right now. So some much needed rainfall. But I think that we are now getting to the point where that severe weather threat is really diminishing for us here in West Michigan. So that's some good news there. The only active warning right now still in northeastern Calhoun County. That is set to expire very shortly in about 8 minutes. But right now, to me, it doesn't even look worthy of being a severe thunderstorm, to be honest with you. And that's quickly racing off to the south, or to the north and the east, rather. So Charlotte, you're going to be dealing with some heavy rain, maybe some 40 mile per hour, 50 mile per hour gusts, but it doesn't look severe as of now. That's moving into Eaton County. And then some stronger winds right now in the area of Wayland, Middleville, Irving. But that's not severe. Maybe some 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts and some heavy rain as well. Let me go back over here into the comments. Yeah, Mary, most of the west side is clear. We still have one severe thunderstorm warning right now in northeastern Calhoun County and some stronger winds right now in eastern Allegan and Berry County. But if you're like southwest of there, so like Van Buren, Kalamazoo, St. Joseph, Cass, Berrien counties, western Allegan, we are pretty much clear severe weather at this point. And we might go ahead and see them expire those watches here pretty soon as well.
Hey, did you understand after my mic was hot? That's why I was like,
okay. So you heard me on air?
they heard me say like radar, and then I stopped because I could hear myself, but then I realized I didn't make it clear that my mic was hot.
Okay.
And so I should have just gripped my mic. But yeah, I got up and I went like this to Colin for a second, and anyways, that's why. I wasn't just trying to snap my fingers at Colin. You have to You have to be sneaky on how you tell someone your mic's hot when you're on TV. All right, so sorry you had to watch that for a second. Let's jump back to live Doppler. Anything new to report?
Not really. They're issuing a severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson and Ingham County, but that's further off to the east.
That kind of makes sense because of the damage they saw, I think, in like Litchfield or wherever that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think overall our severe weather threat is diminishing, hopefully.
Oh, okay. He was just returning your notebook.
Oh, thanks, Keith. Curious what this is.
But I don't see winds that are
they're not
indicative of any severe thunderstorm warnings right now in our viewing area. So
not really what they were earlier, that's for sure.
A weakening trend, which is good.
Yeah, and so far there are still some areas that we'll have to look at, like Colon area. They're out of power. I wouldn't be shocked if there were some tree limbs down at the very least there. If we're seeing two pretty big outages. But so far, I would say this has not been an overly impressive event as far as widespread swaths of wind and damage like we saw on May 15th or March 30th, the two much higher end days that we've seen so far.
Yeah,
and we had that tornado warning for a little bit, but we didn't see anything as far as like a radar confirmation that there was a tornado. We don't have any reports of any tornado so far, so these are all good things. Today was a tricky day where we were kind of right on the northern edge of some decent potential for some severe weather ingredients. It was looking like Colin and I were talking about this when we got in yesterday. Things were looking, I thought, pretty juicy, if you will, for our potential for severe storms. And then this morning I kind of woke up, looked at some of the data. I was like, okay, it looks a little less conducive maybe for us, maybe farther to our south. And
what kind of helped us was that low tracking a little further south. So what northern Indiana was dealing with today, they had a lot more of the severe thunderstorms, the straight line damaging winds.
Yeah.
If that just shifted even 20 miles north, that would have been a lot more of our area.
Yeah, definitely. The east side still needs to be monitoring this very closely. In kind of central lower Michigan, you can see they're extending the warnings farther to our east. But generally speaking, what we've seen pretty much all day is that the best wind is going to be kind of where these storms are still oriented north to south. If you see that, so that line is still very much oriented north to south. So it's going to be still moving very quickly, and with that could produce some gusty winds. Where it starts to curl farther north, it's losing some of its like momentum, if you will. So it's not moving quite as fast, and with that, the wind potential is a little lower. So I think that's why we haven't seen as many of these cells a little farther north become warned, because they don't have quite the punch as far as the wind is concerned. Calhoun County, I would be shocked if we don't see that warning trimmed as soon as this line is out of the Albion area.
They're going to let it just expire at 6:30.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, I guess we're coming up on that. So 4 minutes. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Time flies. But Jackson County now in that, and that looks more impressive for Jackson County right now for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not surprised that they extended that. Yeah, it's right. That's right in between the two primary radars within our area, which is in Grand Rapids and then northern Indiana.
It's hard to get a good, gauge on the wind speeds in that area.
Yeah, but in Hillsdale County, northern Hillsdale County, that's our one report so far. There will probably be more, but that was where there was some power lines reported down. And so I'm not surprised when they got that report that they probably made the decision, like, let's extend the warning just to make sure. Still not a lot of tree damage reports coming in so far from St. Joseph or Branch counties. I will say, not to knock on St. Joseph or Branch counties, but those are two counties where it's pretty usually slow to see those reports trickle in coordination with the National Weather Service. It's not to say we won't see them come in still. It's just that they're sometimes a little slower. Nothing in Kalamazoo County to report as far as damage. There was that one gust report that you can see here registered at Battle Creek. What was that again, Colin? I think 47. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just before 6, a 47 mile per hour wind gust, which is still, a decent gust, but nothing that's going to like do widespread damage or anything like that. Severe grade wind speeds are 58 miles per hour or stronger. So we start to get more concerned when we're talking upper 50s, low 60s as far as wind potential. But
things seem to be settling down.
We'll probably wrap up this stream once this warning expires, because I feel like as far as West Michigan is concerned, I don't want to necessarily say we're totally in the clear just yet, but it's definitely trending that way. I think by 7, perhaps, hopefully we'll be pretty much out of the woods. The only thing we have to just keep an eye on is just kind of where that curl is right now, but the fact, Colin, that we saw those cells fire to the north of this, and now it's just like a widespread rain.
Yeah.
What we're talking about, guys, is right here. So we saw those really heavy rainmakers like in Berry County, Eaton County. That's all kind of just congealed to a big, huge area of rain. And these storms are moving into that environment. That's not going to help them strengthen. If anything, they're going to maintain their strength or continue to weaken. So the fact that this is all working into a already raining environment doesn't really jump off the page as anything concerning. What you are more concerned with is these storms pushing into to kind of the east side now, that are moving into an area that hasn't seen as much storms within the last couple hours. And so that's why those are still kind of continuing to strengthen in some cases, or maintaining their strength. But nothing new from the National Weather Service, right?
No, they are continuing the severe thunderstorm watch, which I'm surprised. They just canceled Van Buren County, essentially. I'm surprised they're not trimming areas further off to the east as well. But
yeah, that is surprising. I feel like they do it like one row of counties at a time, though.
Yeah.
So what we're referencing, you guys, is this right here. Load. There we go. So Van Buren County, kind of what we were just talking about. We're starting to see these counties drop because, like we're saying, the threat is ending. Van Buren County no longer in the severe thunderstorm watch, and Berrien County, which we already knew, no longer in the tornado watch. I think it's likely we'll start to see these shaved off here pretty quickly. But overall, a good sign there. And you can see this line that is just, extending all the way down into like the Cincinnati area almost. It will be impacting Cincinnati here shortly. They might even have some warnings.
And the tornado watch was just dropped altogether in our viewing area. So.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah. So that's some good news too. A sign that things are settling down.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. Proof is in the graphic.
Oh yeah.
There you go. So no more tornado watch, and I think we'll see the severe thunderstorm watch drop pretty quickly, hopefully. And now that it's past 6:30, we have no active severe thunderstorm warnings, right?
No.
Okay. So I think we're good. I think we can wrap this up. Anything else that you can think of? I mean, just stay safe tonight. There still could be some pretty heavy rain.
Yeah.
But overall, I think the severe thunderstorm, wind, tornado threat is really winding down.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much winding down. Just, watch out for ponding on the roads, especially once it starts to get dark. It's harder to see.
Yeah, even the rain, though, so far, while we've seen a few isolated pockets of, I was looking 2+ inches.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't see necessarily a widespread swath of 2+ inches or anything like that.
Yeah.
So if we do have any flooding, I think it will be extremely localized tonight. But we'll continue to monitor the feeds and report any damage. We'll have more tonight at 10 and 11. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing yet. Maybe talking about the heat, maybe out live. I don't know. We'll figure that part of it out.
Exactly.
But if you have any damage reports, we always appreciate, once the rain and the lightning and everything is cleared, if you have anything, if you want to share it with us, it's always really helpful. And then we can relay that to the National Weather Service as well. Are you going to go kill the feed?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you can just wrap things
Yeah,
up.
I'll wrap things up in T-minus about 20 seconds for the walk that it takes Colin to get down there. But what I was saying, everybody, is we have a website, obviously, WWMT.com. We have a Chime In page. That's where you can feed us, or feed us. That's where you can send us your photos and videos as well. And then we can relay those on air and to the National Weather Service, too, because that can be really helpful for their post-storm analysis of what all went down. So if you have any tree limbs, things like that, flooding especially as well, feel free to share those with us. You just go to wwmt.com/chime-in. And again, in the event we see anything get a little squirrely, and I don't foresee that happening, but we'll be the first ones to tell you about it, and we'll be continuing to monitor these. But again, I think the worst of the severe weather now pushing off to the east side of the state, where they still definitely need to monitor things, but overall the severe weather risk here in West Michigan seems to be kind of wrapping up, and we are happy about that. So we'll end this feed. Colin, go ahead, and thank you all for tuning in, and we'll continue to keep you posted.